The waves crashed like accusations, each one dragging away another piece of the life Miles thought he'd built. He buried his face in his knees, salt stinging his eyes, whether from the sea or his own tears. He couldn't tell anymore. And then, out of the corner of his blurred vision, a shadow fell across the sand, not the sun dipping low, but a man, dropping down beside him like he'd been invited all along. Miles jerked his head up, heart slamming against his ribs like it wanted to bolt for the horizon. With sun-bleached blonde hair that curled at the nape of his neck and eyes the color of faded denim, offered a lopsided grin that cut through the dusk like a lifeline. "Rough day?" the man asked, voice low and gravelly, like he'd smoked one too many Marlboros chasing sunsets. "Or is the ocean just being a dick again?" Miles wiped his face with the back of his hand, tasting the grit of sand and regret. He'd come to this stretch of Malibu beach to escape, to let the Pacific swallow the echo of Jake's voice. The one that had shattered their 5-year run with a single text, "I'm sorry. It's not you. It's the distance. And her." As if 5 years of late-night confessions and stolen kisses could be erased by some straight-laced sorority girl from Jake's old college days. Miles had driven out here from his cramped Echo Park apartment, windows down, blasting the National until his throat ached from screaming lyrics into the wind. With the sun bleeding orange into the water, he felt exposed, like the tide had peeled back his skin. "I'm Alex," the stranger said, extending a hand calloused from what, surfing? Construction? Miles didn't care. He shook it anyway, the warmth surprising him. Alex's grip was firm but not demanding, fingers lingering just a beat too long. Up close, Alex smelled like salt and citrus, with a faint undertone of something earthier, like fresh-cut grass after rain. He was older, maybe early 30s, with laugh lines etched around his eyes that spoke of easy smiles earned the hard way. "Miles," he muttered, pulling his hand back too quickly. "And yeah, the ocean's a total asshole today," Alex chuckled, a sound that rumbled low in his chest, and leaned back on his elbows, staring out at the breakers. He was wearing board shorts faded to gray and a tank top that hugged his broad shoulders. The kind of effortless California casual that made Miles feel underdressed in his rumpled jeans and hoodie. Know the feeling. I come out here when LA starts chewing me up. City's got teeth. Man, sharp ones. They sat in silence for a stretch. The kind that wasn't awkward but charged, like the air before a storm. Miles stole glances at Alex, noting the way his Adam's apple bobbed when he swallowed, the faint scar snaking across his collarbone like a secret tattoo. Who was this guy? Some trust fund surfer crashing on his parents' dime? A barista with dreams bigger than his tip jar? Miles didn't ask. He wasn't sure he could handle answers, not after Jake's lies had left him hollowed out. "You ever feel like you're drowning on dry land?" Miles blurted, the words tumbling out before he could reel them back. Good. He sounded pathetic. But Alex didn't flinch. He turned those blue eyes on him, steady and unjudging. "Every damn day," Alex replied, voice softening. "Lost my brother last year. Car wreck on the 101. 1 minute he's texting me about some gig in Silver Lake. Next he's gone." Like the universe hit delete, Miles's chest tightened. "Shit. I'm sorry," Alex shrugged, but the motion was too tight, too controlled. "Don't be. It's life, right?" bites you in the ass, then expects you to keep swimming. He paused, then added with a wry twist of his lips. Or surfing. In my case. You surf? Miles snorted, a bitter edge to it. Me? I'd probably drown trying to catch a wave. I'm more of a stare at the water and brood kind of guy. Fair enough. Brooding's an art form out here. Alex nudged Miles's shoulder with his own. A casual touch that sent a spark skittering down his arm. It had been months since anyone touched him without expectation. Without the weight of history. Jake's hands had always felt like claims, possessive. Mapping territory. This was different. But possible. As the sky deepened to bruised purple. Fit really talked. Alex spilled about growing up in a sleepy Oregon town before chasing waves and odd jobs to LA. About the band he played bass for on weekends at dive bars in Venice. Miles opened up in fits and starts, his graphic design gig that paid the bills but starved his soul. The way Jake's betrayal had turned their shared loft into a ghost town of half-packed boxes and unanswered voicemails. He said it was the distance, Miles confessed. Voice cracking on the word. But we lived 3 blocks apart. Bullshit. It was always gonna be her. Some girl who reminded him of who he used to be before. Before me. Alex listened without interrupting. His presence a solid anchor against the pull of Miles's grief. When Miles trailed off, staring at his hands like they held the answers, Alex reached over and squeezed his knee. Hey. That guy's loss. Not yours. The touch lingered, warm through the denim, and Miles didn't pull away. For the first time in weeks, the ache in his chest eased. Just a fraction. The beach was emptying out now. Families hauling coolers back to minivans. Couples strolling hand in hand under the first stars. Miles and Alex stayed put. The world narrowing to the space between them. You hungry? Alex asked eventually, standing and brushing sand from his shorts. There's this taco truck down by the pier, best al pastor in the county. My treat. Miles hesitated, the rational part of him screaming to bail, to protect the fragile shell he'd patched together. But the other part, the one that had come here to feel something real, won out. Yeah, he said, pushing to his feet. Lead the way. They walked the mile to the pier in companionable quiet, the neon glow of the Ferris wheel flickering to life. Alex bumped Miles's arm every few steps. Playful shoves that dissolved into laughter when Miles shoved back. At the truck, they ordered extra cilantro and lime, balancing paper plates on their laps as they perched on a weathered bench overlooking the dark water. The food was messy. Perfect drips of salsa on chins. Shared napkins. Easy banter about everything and nothing. By the time they finished, the pier was alive with lights and laughter. But Miles felt steadier, like Alex had tossed him a rope without asking permission. This was nice, Miles admitted, crumpling his napkin. Thanks. Alex's eyes crinkled at the corners. Anything. Brooding artist. Got your number? In case the ocean decides to be a dick tomorrow. Miles pulled out his phone, heart tripping over itself as they exchanged digits. It was just numbers on a screen, he told himself. Harmless. But as Alex walked him back to his beat-up Civic, the air hummed with unspoken promise. Drive safe, Alex called, leaning against the car door with that grin. And text me when you get home. LA traffic's a monster. Miles nodded, sliding into the seat. As he pulled away, watching Alex's silhouette shrink in the rearview, he felt the first flicker of something dangerous: hope. That night, back in his apartment, Miles stared at his phone until the screen burned his eyes. The text from Alex came at 11:47 p.m., made it to Venice. "Ocean's calm tonight. You good?" Miles typed back before he could overthink it. "Yeah. Thanks to you. Surfer boy." The reply buzzed almost instantly. "Night, brooder. Sweet dreams." Miles fell asleep with his phone on his chest, the city's hum fading to the rhythm of waves he could almost hear. The next morning dawned sticky and golden, LA's relentless sun already baking the asphalt by 8 a.m. Miles woke to 3 texts from Alex, a sunrise pic from the beach, a dumb meme about bad exes, and coffee, my spot in Venice. He shouldn't go. One night of vulnerability didn't erase the wreckage Jake had left. But Miles was tired of hiding, of letting fear dictate his shorelines. He threw on a fresh shirt, crisp white linen that hugged his frame just right, and hit the road, windows down, Springsteen blasting from the speakers. The drive to Venice was a blur of palm trees and billboards, the kind of Americana that made his heart ache with its fleeting beauty. Alex was waiting outside a hole-in-the-wall cafe called the Brew Lagoon, leaning against a mural of mermaids with 2 to-go cups in hand. He looked even better in daylight, all golden tan and easy confidence, his tank top riding up just enough to flash a strip of toned abs. "Flat? 2 sugars," Alex said, handing over a cup. "Guessed." "Hope I nailed it." Miles took a sip, perfect, and grinned despite himself. "Psychic surfer now? What's next?" "Reading my palm? Only if it comes with a massage." Alex winked. But there was no sleaze in it, just that playful edge that made Miles's pulse quicken. They wandered down Abbot Kinney, sipping coffee amid the boutique shops and street artists, the air thick with the scent of eucalyptus and fresh-baked sourdough. Alex pointed out his favorite spots: the vintage record store where he'd scored his first base, the mural alley splashed with queer icons like Keith Haring. "You're out?" Miles asked, the question slipping out casual but loaded. Alex nodded, unfazed. "Since 17. Mom cried for a week. Dad handed me a beer and said, 'Son, life's too short for closets.' Small-town Oregon logic." He glanced at Miles, eyes searching. "You." Miles swallowed, the coffee turning bitter on his tongue. "Yeah. But Jake." "He wasn't." "Not really." "Maybe. But he played it straight for the world. Kept me in the shadows." Alex stopped walking, turning to face him fully. The street noise faded, leaving just the 2 of them under a canopy of bougainvillea. "That's on him." "Us. Not you. You deserve spotlights, not shadows." The words landed soft but sure, cracking open something in Miles's chest. He wanted to believe them. Good. He wanted to. Instead, he deflected with a laugh. "Deep for 10 a.m. Buy me lunch and we'll call it even." They spent the day like that, easy, unhurried. Lunch at a food truck, fish tacos this time. Then Alex dragged him to the beach for a lesson in bodyboarding. Miles wiped out spectacularly on his first try, saltwater up his nose, but Alex's laughter was infectious, pulling him under in the best way. By afternoon, they were sprawled on towels, shirts off, sharing a bag of kettle corn as the sun arced high. "Your trouble," Miles said, popping a kernel into his mouth. Aware of how close they were, knees brushing, skin prickling in the heat. Alex propped on an elbow, gaze lingering on Miles's lips. "The good kind, I hope." Miles's breath hitched. The air between them thickened, charged like the moment before a wave breaks. Alex leaned in slow, giving Miles every out, every second to pull back. But Miles didn't. Their lips met soft at first, tentative, tasting of salt and sweetness, then deeper, Alex's hand cupping the back of Miles's neck with a gentleness that undid him. It was the kind of kiss that rewrote maps, turning strangers into something sacred. When they broke apart, foreheads touching, Alex whispered, "Tell me to stop if it's too much." "Don't you dare," Miles breathed, and pulled him back in. They didn't go further, not yet. The beach wasn't the place for unraveling. But as they packed up, hands intertwined in the sand, Miles felt the shift, alone no longer, but tethered to possibility. That evening, back in Echo Park, Miles's phone lit up with Jake's name. "Miss you. Can we talk?" The message hung there, a ghost from the life he'd buried. Miles deleted it without replying, then texted Alex, "Dinner? My place. I make a mean pasta." Alex's response, "On my way." "Bring the wine?" Miles cooked, carbonara with peas and pancetta, the kitchen filling with garlic and steam, while Alex chopped onions with surprising skill, regaling him with tales of botched gigs and midnight bonfires. They ate on the fire escape, city lights twinkling below, a bottle of cheap Cabernet loosening tongues and limbs. "You're different," Alex said later, as they washed dishes side by side, suds bubbling over the sink. "Real. Like you've got layers I want to peel back slow." Miles dried a plate, cheeks warm. "Flattery and dish duty? You're spoiling me." "Just getting started." Alex's voice dropped. And when he turned, the look in his eyes was pure intent. They tumbled into bed like it was inevitable, clothes shedding like old skin. Alex's touches were reverent, fingers tracing Miles's ribs, lips mapping collarbones, whispering praises that made Miles arch and gasp. It wasn't just sex, it was communion, bodies speaking what words couldn't yet. Tangled in sheets that smelled of them, Alex traced lazy circles on Miles's back. "Stay," Miles murmured, half asleep. "Wild horses couldn't drag me," Alex replied, kissing his temple. For the first time in months, Miles slept dreamless, wrapped in arms that felt like home. The weeks blurred into a golden haze, LA's sprawl shrinking to the space between Miles's apartment and Alex's Venice crash pad. They fell into rhythm like waves finding shore, mornings tangled in sheets, afternoons sketching designs while Alex strummed bass lines on the couch, evenings chasing sunsets on the PCH with the windows down and Alex's hand on Miles's thigh. It was effortless, intoxicating, the kind of love that snuck up and floored you. Miles's world expanded. Alex dragged him to open mics at the Troubadour, where he'd play covers of Elliott Smith with a voice like smoked honey. Eyes locked on Miles in the crowd. In return, Miles showed Alex his sketchbooks, raw, ink-stained confessions of doubt and desire. "This one's you," Miles said one night, flipping to a half-finished portrait, Alex mid-laugh. Eyes crinkled, the curve of his smile captured in sharp, loving lines. Alex traced the page with a fingertip, throat working. Damn. You see me like that? Like what? Miles teased, though his heart thrummed. Like I'm worth keeping. The vulnerability in Alex's voice cracked something open in Miles. He set the book aside, pulling Alex close. You are. More than. Their nights deepened, bodies learning each other like Braille, slow explorations under moonlight filtering through blinds, urgent hungers against kitchen counters. Alex was generous, kind of drawing out Miles's gasps with lips and hands until the world narrowed to sensation. You're beautiful, Alex would murmur against his skin, words that healed the scars Jake had left. Invisible but jagged. But shadows lingered. Jake's texts trickled in, I fucked up. She's not you. Please. One coffee, each one a barb Miles ignored, deleting them like spam. Alex noticed, though, the way Miles's jaw tightened at buzzes. X? He'd asked gently. No judgment. Yeah. Persistent asshole. Alex would nod, pulling him into a hug that smelled of salt and safety. Block him. Or let me handle it. Miles laughed it off, but the offer warmed him. Alex was steady, a counterweight to the chaos Jake had sown. One weekend, Alex surprised him with a road trip up the coast to Big Sur, rented a Jeep, packed a cooler with IPAs and sandwiches, playlist heavy on the war on drugs. The drive was magic, cliffs plunging to turquoise sea, redwoods clawing at the sky, Alex's free hand laced with Miles's over the gearshift. They hiked to hidden coves, stripping down to swim in water cold as regret, emerging laughing and shivering into each other's arms. That night, in a cliffside cabin with a view of stars bleeding into ocean, they made love on a rug by the fireplace. Slow, deliberate, Alex entering him with a reverence that brought tears to Miles's eyes. I love you, Alex whispered, the words slipping out unbidden as they moved together, breaths sinking like tides. Miles froze, pleasure spiking with panic. Already? It was too soon. Too raw after Jake's ghost. But looking into Alex's eyes, open, unguarded, he saw truth. I love you too, he choked out. And the dam broke. Waves of emotion crashing as they clung through the aftershocks. Afterward, wrapped in a quilt, Alex's head on Miles's chest. The world felt whole. Scared? Alex asked, fingers toying with Miles's hair. Terrified, Miles admitted. But in the best way, Alex chuckled, pressing a kiss to his sternum. Good. Means it's real. They drove back Sunday night, sun-scorched and sated, Miles's hand in Alex's the whole way. Back in LA, life hummed on. Miles landed a freelance gig designing album art for an indie queer folk band. Alex booked a string of bar gigs. They talked future in whispers, a shared place maybe, road trips to Joshua Tree, tattoos matching the waves on Alex's forearm. But cracks spiderwebbed in unnoticed. Alex's phone buzzed more at odd hours, texts he silenced with a quick swipe. Claims of band drama. Miles chalked it up to tour nerves. But doubt gnawed. One evening, post-rehearsal, Alex came home late, smelling faintly of perfume, not Miles's cedar cologne, but something floral. Cloying. Rough night? Miles asked, stirring risotto on the stove. Alex kissed his cheek. Evasive. Yeah. Some groupie got handsy. told her to fuck off. Miles nodded. But the seed planted. Trust was fragile. He'd learned that the hard way. It bloomed into full suspicion a week later. Miles came home early from a client meeting. The apartment quiet save for the hum of the fridge. Alex's guitar case lay open. Sheet music scattered like confetti. An impulse. Miles grabbed Alex's jacket from the hook, forgotten after last night's rush out the door, and something crinkled in the pocket. A receipt. Dinner for two at a swanky spot in West Hollywood. Steak. Tiramisu. Date stamped 2 nights ago. When Alex had cancelled their plans for a last-minute jam session. Miles's stomach plummeted. It couldn't be. He pocketed the receipt, heart hammering, and waited. Alex breezed in at 9. All smiles and kisses. Missed you. Traffic was hell. Miles forced a smile. Plating pasta. They ate on the couch. Alex rambling about a new riff. But Miles's mind screamed. After dinner, as Alex scrolled his phone, Miles couldn't hold it. Who's Sarah? Alex's thumb froze mid-swipe. What? The receipt in your jacket. West Hollywood Bistro. Sounded romantic. The color drained from Alex's face. He set the phone down. Slow. Like defusing a bomb. Miles. It's not. Who is she? Steady. But inside. Miles fractured. Alex ran a hand through his hair, cursing under his breath. My ex. From Portland. She's in town for a conference. We grabbed dinner too. Clear the air. Old shit. Old shit like what? You smell like her perfume half the time. Alex flinched. Jesus. Us. It's nothing. She's straight? For fuck's sake. Married now. It was closure. Closure over steak and wine? Miles's laugh was hollow. You could have told me. I didn't want to worry you. After Jake. Don't. Miles stood. Pacing. Don't make this about my baggage. If you wanted space, say it. But lies? That's Jake's playbook. Alex surged up, grabbing Miles's arm. I'm not him. I love you. Damn it. Then prove it. Miles yanked free, eyes burning. No more secrets. Alex nodded. Fierce. I swear. It's over. Done. They made up in bed that night, fierce, reclaiming, bodies slamming together like arguments unresolved. But the seed had taken root. Doubt's vine twisting tighter. Days passed in fragile normalcy. Alex went radio silent on his phone, left it charging face down. Miles threw himself into work, sketching feverishly, lines bleeding anger and fear. They still laughed, still touched, but the ease had fractured, replaced by watchful glances. Then came the gig, the band's biggest yet. A Friday night at the Echo. Miles arrived late, weaving through the crowd of hipsters and drag queens, heart swelling at the sight of Alex on stage, spotlit, bass thumping like a heartbeat, sweat gleaming on his arms. He dedicated the encore to the guy who makes the waves worth riding, eyes finding Miles's in the dark. The crowd hooped, Miles's throat tightened with forgiveness. Backstage after, buzzed on adrenaline and cheap beer, Alex pulled him into a utility closet, kisses sloppy, hands greedy. You're my everything, Alex growled against his neck. And Miles believed it, lost in the heat. But as they stumbled out, laughing, a woman approached, auburn hair, floral perfume wafting like accusation. Alex? Oh my God. It's you, Sarah. Ex from Portland. Married, it said. But the way she hugged him, lingering, intimate, twisted the knife. Miles. This is Sarah, Alex said, voice tight. Old friend. She smiled. All teeth. More than that. But hey. Water under the bridge. Her eyes flicked to Miles. Appraising. You must be the muse. Miles mumbled pleasantries. Nausea rising. As she air-kissed Alex goodbye, too close, lips brushing cheek, he excused himself to the bar, ordering a double whiskey neat. When Alex joined him, Miles's words were ice. Married? That ring on her finger looks fresh. Alex's face crumpled. Engaged. She just got engaged. That's why dinner, to congratulate her. I swear. Miles. Save it. Miles slammed the glass down. Amber sloshing. I can't do this. The half-truths. The old friends who smell like regret. I'm out. He stormed into the night. LA's neon blurring through tears. Alex's calls chased him, voicemails pleading. Come back. Please. But Miles powered off his phone, driving aimlessly until the tank light blinked, pulling over at the same Malibu beach where it all began. He collapsed onto the sand, waves mocking him with their indifference. Betrayed again, not by lies this time, but by the fear they breed. Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, as Miles curled into himself, whispering to the sea, why does love always leave me here? The beach stretched empty under a sky heavy with fog. The Pacific's roar a dull throb in Miles's skull. He hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, just sat there as night bled into morning. Sand caking his jeans, phone silent in his pocket. Alex's texts had piled up overnight. I'm sorry. Let me explain. I love you. Don't throw us away. But Miles couldn't read them without shattering. It was a trap, baited with hope and sprung with hurt. By noon, dehydration clawed at him, and reality intruded. He dragged himself to his car, the Civic's interior a sauna of stale coffee and regret. Back in Echo Park, the apartment mocked him, Alex's guitar in the corner, their shared mugs on the shelf. Miles packed a duffel, essentials, sketchpad. The Big Sur quilt folded like a white flag. He left a note on the fridge. Pen shaking, need space. Don't follow. He crashed at his sister's in Silver Lake, Lena, the unflappable type with a loft full of rescue cats and zero tolerance for bullshit. Another one bites the dust, she said, handing him a beer as he slumped on her couch, the weight of 48 hours' silence crushing him. Not bites. Chews and spits. Miles cracked the can, foam spilling like tears. Lena listened as he unloaded, the receipt, Sarah's hug, the whiskey-fueled exit. She didn't interrupt, just nodded, her dark eyes, mirror to his own, soft with empathy. Men are idiots, she declared finally, tossing him a throw blanket. But you're not. Sleep it off. Then decide. Sleep came in fits. Dreams of waves pulling him under. Alex's hand slipping from his. Morning brought clarity. sharp as shattered glass. He couldn't stay hidden. Not again. Miles texted his boss, a sick day, then drove to the beach. Not Malibu, but Santa Monica, where the pier's bustle could drown his thoughts. He sketched for hours, furious lines of fractured waves, shadowed figures reaching but never touching. Tourists milled around, oblivious, families with ice cream-smeared kids, joggers in neon, an old man feeding pigeons. Miles envied their normalcy, the ease of lives unscarred. His phone buzzed mid-stroke. Not Alex, Jake. Saw you at the Echo. Look good. We should talk. For real. Miles's laugh was bitter, startling a nearby gull. Slinking back like a bad habit. He blocked the number, fingers flying, then stared at Alex's thread. Unread. Untouched. The ache bloomed fresh, anger laced with longing. How could something so right curdle so fast? That night, Lena dragged him to a queer poetry slam at a WeHo bar. Art therapy? Bro, she insisted. The room pulsed with bodies and words, verses on reclaimed bodies. Lost loves. The beauty in breaking. One poet, a wiry kid with blue hair, spat lines about betrayal's sting turning to wings. Miles clapped hardest, tears pricking. Outside after, chain smoking under street lamps, Lena nudged him. Call him. Or delete him. But limbo's a bitch, Miles nodded. But the drive home was a war zone, radio flipping between Adele ballads and angry punk. His mind a loop of what if. At his door, a package waited, no label, just his name in Alex's scrawl. Inside, the sketchbook Miles had left behind, dog-eared to his portrait page. Tucked between a letter, handwritten on lined notebook paper, ink smudged like tears. Boss, I fucked up. Not with Sarah, that's dead history. I swear on the ocean that brought us together. But with you. Hiding her visit, letting old ghosts spook me into silence. After my brother, I built walls. Thought I tore them down for you. But pieces lingered. I'm sorry. Not the pretty kind, the gut punch kind that says I'll do better if you let me. You changed everything that night on the beach. Pulled me from my own driftwood life. If you're done, I get it. But if there's a wave left to ride, I'm here. Boys. Alex. Miles read it twice. 3 times. Chest heaving. The words blurred. Truth bleeding through. He grabbed his keys, heart a drumbeat, and drove. Venice at midnight was a fever dream, canals reflecting neon, bass thumping from hidden parties, the air thick with weed and salt. Alex's place, a converted garage off the boardwalk, glowed with a single porch light. Miles knocked, knuckles raw, breath shallow. The door swung open. Alex in sweats and a faded Metallica tee. Eyes bloodshot, hair a wreck. Miles, the name a prayer. Can I come in? Alex stepped aside. The space between them electric. The room smelled of him, citrus and smoke, guitar propped against the wall like a sentinel. They stood awkward, miles of unspoken ocean. I read the letter, Miles started, voice steady by will alone. It got me, Alex nodded, leaning against the counter, arms crossed like armor. Good or bad? Both. Miles paced. words tumbling. I want to believe you. Good. I do. But trust. It's glass. Alex. Shattered once. It's sharp forever. I know. Alex's voice cracked. I'll earn it. Every shard. Silence stretched. Tut. Then Miles closed the gap. Hands fisting Alex's shirt. Show me. Their kiss was collision, desperate, devouring. Teeth clashing in the storm of it. Alex groaned, backing Miles against the wall, hands roaming like they were mapping home. Clothes hit the floor in a frenzy. Skin on skin a sacrament. Alex dropped to his knees, taking Miles in with a reverence that bowed him, slow licks, eyes locked upward, begging forgiveness in every swirl. Miles threaded fingers through Alex's hair, gasps tearing free. Alex, fuck. They migrated to the bed. A tangle of limbs and whispers. Alex entered him gentle at first, then building. Each thrust a vow, I'm yours. Miles met him thrust for thrust, nails raking backs, cries mingling with the distant crash of waves. Climax hit like breakers, leaving them wrecked. Alex held him fierce, lips to temple. No more hiding. Promise. Miles nodded into his neck, exhaustion claiming him. Promise. Morning brought tentative peace, coffee on the porch, feet tangled under the table. They talked real, Alex admitting Sarah's visit had stirred old insecurities. A fear of not being enough. Miles confessed his own, Jake's shadow making every doubt a monster. We fight it together, Alex said, lacing their fingers. No solo swims. Miles squeezed back. Together. But the high tide of reconciliation couldn't hold forever. 2 weeks later, conflict crested unbidden. Miles's freelance boom meant late nights, deadlines blurring into dawn. Alex's band scored a residency at a Sunset strip club 3 nights a week. Crowds rowdy with groupies and booze. Jealousy crept in sideways. Miles at a gig, watching a tattooed girl drape herself over Alex during break, whispering in his ear. Alex shrugged her off. But the seed, that damn seed, sprouted thorns. Texts went unanswered during sets. Miles paced his apartment, mind spinning worst cases. One night, post-show, Miles waited in the alley, the club's bass vibrating through brick. Alex emerged, flushed and exhilarated, pulling Miles into a kiss that tasted of whiskey and sweat. Missed you, he panted. But Miles pulled back, words spilling venom. Missed me? Or the adulation? Saw your fan club tonight. Alex's face shuddered. What the hell? Miles? That again. It's always again. Miles shouted, voice echoing off dumpsters. You shine up there? Then I'm... What? The guy holding your jacket? Alex recoiled, hurt flashing. You're my anchor, not my prop. But if you can't see that, I see Sarah every time a girl looks at you. The admission ripped free. Raw and ugly. Alex went still. Pain etching lines. And I see Jake in every silence you keep. We're poisoning this. The words hung. Toxic. Miles stormed to his car, slamming the door as tears blurred taillights. At home, he blasted the national Fake Empire on loop, curling fetal on the couch. Hours later, a knock, Lena, key in hand. Alex called. Worried sick. She sat, rubbing his back. You two are mirrors, reflecting each other's fears. Miles sobbed then. The dam breaking. I love him. But it hurts. Love does. Question is, worth the scars? Dawn found Miles at the beach, Malibu again. Full circle. Waves gnashed. Indifferent. He sat where Alex had first dropped beside him. Sand cool under palms. Clarity washed in with the tide. Run. Or fight. He chose fight. Text to Alex. Beach. We end this right. Alex arrived disheveled. Eyes haunted. Dropping beside him like fate. No words at first, just the sea's symphony. Then Alex, I'm scared too. Of losing you. Miles turned. Taking his hand. Then don't. But no more projections. We face the real shit together. Alex nodded. Tears tracking salt. Deal. They kiss slow. Sealing it slowly. Healing. But as they stood, arms linked, Miles's phone buzzed, unknown number. Voicemail. Jake's voice. Slurred with drink. Heard about your surfer boy. Told you? We're poison. Come home. Miles deleted it, blocking the caller. But the poison lingered, an undercurrent waiting to search. The fragile truce held through summer swelter. LA baking under a relentless sun that mirrored the heat between them. Miles and Alex rebuilt deliberate, date nights at quiet Ticarius. No phones at dinner, therapy sessions Alex started after a bandmate's nudge. Miles tagging along for couples work. They learned languages of each other. Alex's quiet after gigs meant decompression. Not distance. Miles's brooding sketches were outlets. Not indictments. Fall crept in with crisp edges, pumpkin spice infiltrating coffee shops. Leaves turning gold in Griffith Park where they'd hike. Hands clasped. Talking dreams. Alex's band inked a deal with a small label, indie release next spring. Miles's designs caught an agent's eye, leading to a gallery show in downtown. Pride swelled. Shared, celebratory dinners where toasts ran long and lovemaking longer. Yet Jake's ghost haunted peripherally. A mutual friend spilled at a party. Jake outed. Massive bar fights. Rebounds crashing hard. Miles felt pity twist with vindication, but it stirred old waves. Does it change anything? Alex asked one night. Bodies cooling post-love. Miles traced Alex's scar. We're solid, but solidity tested in November chill. Alex's label pushed a promo tour, 6 weeks up the coast. Seattle to San Diego. Schmoozing radio. Inking playlists. Come with, Alex begged. But Miles's show loomed, opening in 3 weeks. All-nighters of framing and nerves. Go conquer, Miles said, kissing him fierce at LAX drop-off. I'll hold the fort. The first week was bearable, daily FaceTimes. Alex's grin pixelated but bright. Hotel rooms swapped for tour bus confessions. Miles prepped his exhibit. The space a cavernous warehouse in the arts district. Walls soon to bloom with his waves and lovers. Then, week 3, radio silence. Alex's calls dropped, bad signal in Portland. Text claimed. Miles scrolled Instagram late night. Heart sinking at band posts, Alex mid-set. Arms slung around a backup singer. Captions winking tour fam. Harmless? Or history repeating? Doubt festered. Miles hit the beach alone, sketching furious, lines slashing like accusations. Lena noticed, cornering him at brunch. "You're spiraling." "Talk to him." "I did." "He's busy." "Bullshit." "Fly up." "Face it." "Impulsive." Miles booked a red-eye to Portland, thank God for mileage hacks. Landed dawn. Jet-lagged and jittery. Cab to the venue, a hipster club in the Pearl District. Fog machines already warming up. Backstage chaos, roadies hauling amps. Alex's bandmates shotgunning energies. Miles slipped in, pulse roaring, spotting Alex in a corner, head thrown back. With her. Sarah. Auburn hair loose, hand on his arm, that floral scent cutting through smoke. Time fractured. Alex's eyes met his across the room, shock. Then devastation. "Miles? What?" Sarah pulled back. Flushed. "Oh." "Hi again." Miles's voice was steel. "Terfam." "Huh." Alex surged forward, gripping his elbows. "No, shit. She's crashing a show." Label connect. "I didn't." Save the script. Miles wrenched free. Betrayal a tidal wave. "You said closure. But here she is, touching you like it's open season." "It's not." Alex's desperation cracked. "She's engaged." Us. Asked for advice, cold feet. "That's it," Sarah interjected, voice small. "He's telling truth." "I'm sorry. Didn't mean to." "Spare me." Miles backed toward the exit, crowd noise swelling like mockery. "I flew here thinking we could fix us. But it's the same beach. Different sand." Alone again, Alex followed, pleading in the alley rain-slick streets. "Don't. Please. I love you, only you." Miles whirled, rain mingling with tears. Love's not enough if trust drowns it. He hailed a cab, door slamming on Alex's weight. Back in LA by morning. The apartment echoed hollow. Miles canceled his show, personal reasons, and hold up. Phone off. World muted. Lena force-fed him soup. But grief gnawed, not just Alex, but the dream they'd woven. Frayed to threads. A week blurred into numbness. Then, a knock, persistent. Miles opened to Alex, soaked from drizzle. Duffel at feet. "I'm done touring. Quit the label. Came home." Miles's laugh was wrecked. "Home? To what?" "To you." Alex stepped closer, rain pooling. "I fucked up again." "Sarah's nothing. A crutch from before you lit me up." "But losing you? That's everything." Miles trembled. Walls crumbling. "Why should I believe?" "Because I choose you." Every wave, every scar. Alex dropped to knees. Not dramatic but raw. Hands open. "Marry me? Not now, someday. When you're ready." "But let me prove I'm all in." Miles hauled him up, kissing through sobs, salt and rain and redemption. "Idiot." But slow. "We heal first." They did. Therapy doubled. Boundaries redrawn, full disclosure. No ex-ghosts unbanished. Alex took a day job at a surf shop. Gigging local. Miles rescheduled his show, for Valentine's. Theme Tides of Us. Winter thawed to spring. Their love a deliberate garden, tended, resilient. On the beach anniversary, Alex proposed proper, ring simple, silver waves intertwined. Miles said yes under sunset, crowd of gulls their witnesses. But humanity's arc bends bittersweet. Jake's end came quiet, a call from mutuals, overdose? Alone in his loft. Miles mourned not the man, but the boy he'd loved first. The lessons carved deep. That the funeral was sparse. Rain lashed, Miles stood graveside, Alex's hand anchor. He taught me what I don't want, Miles whispered. And I teach you what you do. Alex squeezed. Us. Back home. They burned Jake's old letters in the sink, smoke curling like release. That night, lovemaking was tender. A liturgy of survival, bodies affirming life amid loss. Months later, Miles's show packed the warehouse, walls alive with their story, solos to duets. Fractures mended in color. Alex in the front row. Eyes shining pride. On the roof under stars, Miles leaned into him. Changed everything? That night you sat down. Alex grinned. Lopsided as ever. Best decision. Worth every wave. They kissed. City sprawling below, a canvas of chaos and grace. Alone no more. But together in the tide's embrace, human. Enduring. In the end, love wasn't perfection's shore, but the courage to swim, side by side, through storms and sun.